Hello, and welcome, new Aspiders and families. I'm Nicole Maurantonio, and I'm joined by Andrea Vest. As Team Academic Advising, we're here to provide you with an overview of the registration process, some key dates and deadlines, as well as strategies, as the title of this webinar suggests, for tackling pre-registration. During our time, we're also going to be offering an overview of the Web of Inquiry, our foundational curriculum, as well as the registration process and what to expect. We'll be introducing you to how to create a plan and plans in Banner. Next week, we'll be taking a deeper dive into plan creation with our colleagues from the Office of the Registrar, and we'll be able then to follow up on any additional questions as you explore and develop plans in the coming week. Just to reiterate, this webinar is being recorded for future reference, so you'll be able to access it on YouTube after the fact. Of course, if there are any questions that surface after we sign off today, don't hesitate to reach out to us in the Academic Advising Office. You can reach out to our inbox at advising@richmond.edu, or you can email one or both of us directly. Our email addresses will be included at the end of this presentation. So to begin, we'd like to recap the registration timeline for the summer. From now until June 30th, you should be preparing your pre-registration plans. For most students, this involves the creation of two plans, an FYS and a fall plan. Now there's two asterisks there because that may change depending on whether you're part of an Endeavor community. And you can see in the tables below which plans you would need to make if you're part of a specific Endeavor community. So in the communities on the left, you would only need to make a fall plan because you would be part of an FYS Endeavor, and then vice versa with the courses in the column on the right. Regardless, though, of which plan or plans you need to make, you'll be hearing from your peer advisor or PA or navigator if you are part of the Endeavor program in the coming week. PAs and navigators are UR students who are trained to guide you through the plan making process. They will also be there as resources to guide you through BannerWeb and answer any questions. So please make sure to check your UR email to hear from your PA or navigator. Also, remember that those plans are due by June 30th. So these next few weeks are important. As a side note, there is no advantage to completing your plans early in terms of getting courses. So best to take your time and think about selections now. Again, no need to worry about getting them in sooner than June 30th. Take this time and review some options. However, if you are going to be out of town and without internet access for the next few weeks, we encourage you to reach out to our office as soon as possible. After your plan or plans are due on June 30th, you will have a bit of a break registration-wise. So we suggest this is a time to check some items off the checklist in your student portal. On July 22nd, you'll be notified of which course or courses for which you've been pre-registered. For most students, by July 22nd, you'll have two courses in registration. The exception will be if you are an NCAA athlete, a Richmond, Bonner, or Oliver Hill scholar. If you fall into one of these groups, you'll be pre-registered for 4 units plus Well 100, which is a 0 credit bearing class. Once you know which courses you've been pre-registered for, you'll be connecting with your summer advisor, a faculty or staff member, and plan out your remaining units. Specifically, during your meeting with your summer advisor, this is a strategy meeting for self-registration on August 7th. During self-registration, you'll register yourself for your remaining units, make any changes to your schedule, and add that section of Well 100. Again, our 0 credit bearing first year wellness requirement. If you'd like some additional guidance on how to prepare for self-registration, again, how to do this on Banner, we encourage you to join us on July 30th for our self-registration webinar, which will be led by our colleagues from the registrar's office. But before we look at the courses themselves, we wanted to spend a bit of time providing you an overview of our foundational curriculum, the Web of Inquiry. As our newest spiders, you're now part of a web that you'll be navigating over the next 4 years. And there isn't one set path. Rather, our curriculum is designed to encourage curiosity, interdisciplinary connections, and health and well-being. As a liberal arts institution, we want you to take this time to explore. And so there's really no prescription for what courses you have to take. We want you to develop those interests and perhaps leave some openings for some surprises. What you're seeing here on this slide is an overview of the Web of Inquiry and a list of the requirements you need to complete over the next 4 years. That said, I repeat, you do not need to take all these courses in your first or second year. And to note, some courses, in fact, many courses, will count for multiple requirements simultaneously. So there really aren't as many requirements as you might think. The 2 courses you must, however, take as a first-year student or an incoming student are your first-year seminar and your Well 100 class. These are the 2 courses that are marked with asterisks. Again, Well 100 is our Introduction to College Life course required of all incoming students. It meets for 75 minutes and is worth 0 units. You may be wondering, though, about that first-year seminar. First-year seminar is what is often referred to as the freshman writing class in other institutions. But here at the University of Richmond, it really focuses more broadly on developing skills in different areas: written communication, oral communication, critical thinking, and information literacy. Our first-year seminars are topical, so they're taught by faculty from across the university and specialize in different areas. You can take an FYS titled Dining Out. You can take a FYS titled Space, Time, and Relativity. As you've likely guessed, these courses, in terms of their content, can be quite different. However, they all share common goals: to help students build skills as communicators and skills in information literacy and the research process. Their assignments will differ, but again, the overarching goals of the course are the same. Now, as the director of FYS, I would strongly encourage you to create an FYS plan comprised of courses that interest you topically. Because most first-year seminars do not count toward a major or minor, and none count toward a Web of Inquiry, area of inquiry, or integrated focus area requirement, it really is in your best interest to select a course that really is exciting to you. Now, you might also be wondering, what else should I know about FYS? First is that you will complete one first-year seminar, and that's during the fall of your first year. There are no first-year seminar sections offered in spring semester. And again, to reiterate, FYS classes do not fulfill either the area of inquiry or integrated focus area requirements, only the FYS engagement. As mentioned, FYS classes can meet major or minor requirements, but this is the exception rather than the rule. If you are interested in just reviewing some of the course descriptions for first-year seminars, you can see these in Banner, we'll be seeing shortly, or at fys.richmond.edu, where they're listed on the website. Now, we're going to demo how to actually create your FYS plan. So we're going to begin by going into BannerWeb in the Student Services tab and go into Registration. So once you click on Registration, you'll click on Plan Ahead. At this point, be sure to select Fall 2024 as the term, at which point you'll see 2 plans. At this point, because we're going to create our FYS plan, we'll start with that one and click Edit. So now you will be searching for first-year seminars, or FYS. And what you'll see here is a list of the container for FYS. So we'll want to view the specific sections. As you can see, there are now 58 individual sections of FYS being offered. So please make sure that when you scroll through them, you do page through so that you are able to see the full array of FYSs. Now, going back to the beginning, to demo the actual plan creation, you might be wondering and find the first course an interesting one. So we see the rights of the criminally accused. Let's see. Oops. Oh, actually, we can use sport and religion. So sport and religion, we can see two sections of sport and religion being offered. So what we'll do is add the first and then add the second. So to note, you can add two sections of the same class. So reviewing the sections, you may also see this course titled Summons to Conscience. Great. Which we will add there. We'll take a look at the course description and see under the section information text the description for the course. So if you are interested as you're scrolling through Banner and would like to see the course descriptions, you can find those here. So as we search through, we're also maybe curious about what other courses might be available. So paging through, you see under the course titled Meaning and Value, looking across to the right-hand side of the page, it's listed as a philosophy elective. So this is one of those rare courses that does in fact count for a major or minor requirement. So we're going to add that as well. So at this point, we're going to save our plan. And we have, you can see 5 courses listed here currently. So at this point, we're going to demo again, ranking these courses as you will when you create your plan and banner. So we'll start off with meaning and value and be sure to enter in a digit only. So you see you would rank them 1 through 20. And so again, as a reminder, while we're only demoing 5 sections here, we do ask that you list 20 sections of FYS and rank order them. Please also note that students will typically get a course within their top 10 choices, though the course caps are firmly set at 16. So it's important that you don't expect that you'll be granted an override. There will be waitlists open for all FYS sections on August 7th when self-registration opens. However, again, as a note, never drop your FYS unless you are sure you have a spot in another one. Now, that said, we've demoed the FYS plan. We're going to move on. But before attempting to tackle Plan Fall, we're going to give you some suggestions. First, we encourage you to check out the New Spiders website. This site is full of great information. You should also consider some additional issues. First, do you have AP or IB credit? We do have an AP and IB credit by exam policy that is also accessible from New Spiders, which we'll link at the very end of this presentation, along with some other valuable links, including a link to information about language placement exams. So depending on whether you've taken X number of language during your time, you can access that there. If you do have an intended major, we also have a list of courses that are recommended as gateways or possible introductory courses to that major. If you don't have an intended major, don't worry, it's still quite early. And then finally, if you're not sure where to begin selecting courses, the Office of the Registrar has created a list of recommended courses for first-year students. So this is also a valuable resource. Again, one that will be linked at the very end of this presentation. So now moving back into Banner, once we've considered these questions, we're going to start building that fall plan. So much like you do with FYS, we'll begin by editing and say that I'm interested in political science. I'm going to just search for political science courses. But first take note of the long list of courses here, and that these first 3 courses have an N, a U, and a U following them. Please ensure that you do not add these courses to your plan, since these are courses that are not available to first-year students. So it's important that when you do select individual courses to add to your plan, again, that they do not have a letter attached to them. In this case, because I am interested in political science, and if I've consulted that guide to recommended first-year courses, I'll begin with Intro to American Government, or 222, and click on View Sections. As you can see here, there are 3 sections of Intro to American Government being offered this fall. So I'm going to begin by adding those. But actually, I'll add only the first 2, since the noontime class sounds like one that I may want to break, might be a good time for lunch, or to decompress after, say, a morning of classes. Moving along, because I am looking to build out this fall plan of 20 classes, we're going to add some more political science for good measure. So we're going to add political science 240, Intro to Comparative Politics, also a first-year appropriate course. Now, looking here, we'll add the 10:30 to 11:45, since that also fits my interest in not having a noon class. So we'll add those 2 as well. Oh, and then a third. You can see too in the far right, you could see that area of inquiry, social science fulfilled. So scrolling down further, we'll be adding, let's see, Intro to Public Policy, so Political Science 260. So we'll select those sections. And again, I'm trying to avoid that noon section, so I'm just going to add the 3 p.m. So adding those courses to the lineup, I'm going to continue building on. I'm thinking now about some other possible classes that I would add. So searching again, we'll begin with French. Since I have taken, say, 4 years of high school French, but didn't take the AP exam. I took the placement test and it confirmed I should take French 221. So similarly, I'm going to view sections here. And I can see that there are 6 sections offered. 2 have that noon block, so I'll just add the remaining 4. And so moving forward, I'm going to try to add another section. This time, I'm thinking about perhaps maybe taking a course in the area of inquiry, visual and performing arts. So what I'm going to do is an advanced search. And as you'll see, scrolling down to attribute, I'll type in AI for area of inquiry, and then scrolling down to visual and performing arts and search. Here you can see the list of all courses that are being offered that fulfill the area of inquiry, visual and performing arts. And so I'll see, let's see, perhaps ballet. And I'll view sections, and then add that section to the list. Okay. Now, at this point, I've added them now to my plan. And you can see on the right, the list of courses, and on the left, when those courses meet. So at this point, it's important not to be concerned that many of these courses actually conflict in terms of time, because the registrar's office is going to ensure, one, that you're not registered for any courses that conflict, and that two, that for most students, only one course from this listing is going to be a course that you're pre-registered for. So again, pay little attention here to the actual timing of the courses as they appear in this course schedule. So at this point, though, we are going to try to create the rank order for this plan. So this is entirely up to you, but of course, rank order number one, the course that you're most interested in. So because of the intensive language that meets 7 times over the course of the week is pretty challenging to schedule around, I'm going to rank order those sections highest. And then move to ballet and government. Now, again, we're just using this as an example. You can certainly play around with how you rank order your plan. Okay, but as you can see here, we have the plan listed with all of the courses that have been included. Again, this fall plan, much like the FYS plan, should have 20 courses in it, and those all should be rank ordered using that sticky note that only lists a number preference. Okay, and now that we've gone through the basics of how to build your plans, we want to wrap up with just some suggestions. So our 5 top tips. First, just a reminder about deadlines. Know which plan or plans you need to make and make sure that you have them in by June 30th. As a reminder, if you can't make your plan or plans due to travel or other issues that would keep you from internet access, please be sure to contact us, advising@richmond.edu. Next, be sure to rank your class preferences with digits only. Again, only the number, no additional information. Third, be sure that each section included on your plan is actually being offered this fall. The way that you'll know this is that you'll see a 5-digit CRN, which is the course registration number, as well as a meeting time. So you will be able to see when the course meets and the time that it meets. Fourth reminder, don't worry, nothing is etched in stone. You can make changes after you submit your plans. Note, though, that FYSs are more difficult to change later, but again, changes can be made. And as we mentioned, on August 7th, waitlists will open, so there will be movement. And then finally, if you have questions, don't hesitate to be in touch. You'll have a peer advisor or navigator if you were part of the Endeavor program who will be a resource for you, again, to contact you in the next week. You can also reach out to us at advising@richmond.edu. Either here, and then we have our shared resources. These are all of the links to the resources that were referenced in this presentation that you can go back to for further information. And finally, thank you for joining us this evening. Here are our email addresses should you want to reach out. But again, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing you this fall.